न मैं यहाँ आया हूँ, न मुझे किसी ने भेजा है, मुझे तो माँ गंगा ने बुलाया है। ऐसा मैंने 2014 में कहा था कि उस समय मैंने कहा था कि माँ गंगा ने मुझे बुलाया है। आज मुझे लगता है कि माँ गंगा ने मुझे गोद लिया है। तो अभी
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Kashi Putra today returned to his Karma Bhumi. You just heard how Prime Minister Modi, when he spoke to me before the elections, said that he shared a special rishta with Kashi, that he felt Ma Ganga had adopted him. After being elected from Banaras for Tisri Baar, Modi went back to seek the blessings from Ma Ganga, this time as Prime Minister who had etched history once again. As he performed Ganga Aarti at the Dashmedh Ghat, it would have been a very significant moment in his life. This Aarti is not just symbolic but also very politically significant. While the BJP went down from 62 to 33 seats this time, Prime Minister's own reduced margin of victory of 1.5 lakh votes also generated a lot of commentary. After all, Prime Minister's visit to Varanasi comes in the middle of intense scrutiny of the Saffron Party's poll performance in Uttar Pradesh. In fact, they even called him a one-third Prime Minister, perhaps one of the most scathing taunts that came from Rahul Gandhi, who had wrote that Priyanka could have defeated Modi in Varanasi. He went on to say that if she had contested, she would have won with a victory margin of 2 to 3 lakh votes, defeating Prime Minister Modi. Of course, she didn't contest from Varanasi and now has zeroed in on a safer seat in Wayanad instead. In the midst of all of this, Prime Minister Modi's Varanasi visit gains significance since he will hope for a course correction in Uttar Pradesh. He will also try to galvanize the BJP's Karyakartas after poll reversal. This is also his first meeting, lengthy meeting with Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. After NDA parliamentary meeting, his presence will project a united front amidst the claims of an internal rift within the BJP. This also comes at a time when the BJP's UP unit has gone into a huddle to hunt for the Jaychands within. The focus has been brought back to Vikas and schemes amidst reports of RSS BJP drift and disagreements. From Varanasi, Prime Minister Modi will now begin to strengthen the BJP ahead of the 2027 Uttar Pradesh elections. Today, significantly, NDA allies have reposed their faith on Prime Minister and allowed the BJP to choose the Speaker of Lok Sabha, bringing back Modi in command even as he came to Varanasi, giving away the 17th installment of the Kisan Samman Nidhi and benefits for 92.6 million farmers. Not just that, he also spoke about himself as a Pradhan Sevak whose top priority was Garib Kalyan. And the Lakpati Didis also getting certificates in Kashi today. Listen in to the Prime Minister.
काशी वासियों के असीम स्नेह से मुझे तीसरी बार देश का प्रधान सेवक बनने का सौभाग्य मिला है। मां गंगा ने भी जैसे मुझे गोद ले लिया है, किसी सरकार ने इस तरह हैट्रिक नहीं लगाई थी। आपने ये सौभाग्य हमें दिया, अपने सेवक मोदी को दिया। आपका ये विश्वास मेरी बहुत बड़ी पूंजी है। मैंने किसान, नौजवान, नारी शक्ति और गरीब, इन्हें विकसित भारत का मजबूत स्तंभ माना है। अपने तीसरे कार्यकाल की शुरुआत मैंने इन्हीं के सशक्तिकरण से की है। सरकार बनते ही सबसे पहला फैसला किसान और गरीब परिवारों से जुड़ा फैसला लिया गया है।
While Prime Minister Modi called himself the Pradhan Sevak, he even in the past washed feet of Shramjeevis. However, those in the Congress still have a feudal mindset, it seems. Watch how Nana Patole, Congress chief in Maharashtra, gets his feet washed by a Congress Karyakarta. The BJP called this the difference between the two parties. Nonetheless, India Alliance continues to attack the Prime Minister today, even as they said that Modi had returned to Varanasi to take hisab, not for Vikas, but for the crores of rupees that had been distributed in the run-up to elections. Listen in.
He went to Vadodara. Did he tell the people of Varanasi that he'll be doing it while filing his nomination from Varanasi? So, I mean, he's free to do what he did. And then running away from Vadodara, we didn't say why are you running away from Vadodara. So why are they, leveling accusations on Rahul Gandhi and on our party? Ask them to mind their own business.
सुनने में तो ये आ रहा है कि 500 करोड़ रुपए बांटे हैं नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने। ये मेरा बड़ा आरोप है। ये बनारस में गया भी था चुनाव के बाद। लोगों का कहना है, लोकल लोग कह रहे हैं कि नरेंद्र मोदी ने 500 करोड़ रुपए इस चुनाव में खर्च किए। मेरे ख्याल से नरेंद्र मोदी जी धन्यवाद देने नहीं जा रहे बनारस। नरेंद्र मोदी जी अपने 500 करोड़ रुपए जिन जिन को बांटे होंगे उनसे हिसाब लेने जा रहे होंगे।
14 दिन बाद आए हैं, इस बीच में विदेश घूमते रहे, जहां जहां काम करते रहे, तो वाराणसी की फिक्र नहीं आई।
The Prime Minister has not gone to Kashi to authorize any Kisan Nidhi. The Prime Minister has gone to Kashi to assess, to reevaluate with his team. Why did he almost lose Kashi? His winning margin came down from 5 lakh to 1.5 lakh. He barely managed through.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question that we're asking on the News Hour tonight, is it course correction from Kashi for Prime Minister Modi, or is it yet another show of strength ahead of this course correction? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, supports the Congress party. Also joining me is Rajkumar Bhatiji, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Ashutosh, senior journalist, comes back on the show. Thank you very much for joining us, Ashutosh. Suhail Seth, columnist, marketing guru. Shantanu Gupta, author, joining the debate. And in just a bit, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, national spokesperson of the BJP, as well as member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, joins the debate. Tehseen Poonawalla, I ask you first, the Congress party is just so sure about the fact that Prime Minister Modi is going to do course correction. He's going to find out, why he won by only a 1.5 lakh vote margin. Have you got spies within the BJP to know what Prime Minister is going to do? Number one. Number two, on the other hand, let me ask you, is the Congress party shy of contesting a by-election from Uttar Pradesh where you got huge success? And is that why Rahul Gandhi is retaining the Raebareli seat, sending his sister to his most loved Wayanad seat? Because agar BJP itna hi weak hai, might as well try and defeat the BJP a second time around? Or you don't have the stomach for that?
Thank you, Navika ji, for having me on the show. It's not about the Congress having spies in BJP, no. It's about anyone who has some amount of political acumen having common sense. And it is common sense. And when I was with you in Kashi, in Varanasi on that boat, I did tell you both on your show, Hindi and English, and off the record, that the Prime Minister seems to be in some amount of trouble in Varanasi. And he is. His margin has reduced significantly. We have to acknowledge that fact. Whether the Prime Minister is there for a show of strength or he's there for course correction, the fact is he did suffer loss of votes in Varanasi. And he's on slippery ground. I'm not saying he's a weak candidate. I'm not saying he's going to lose, but he's on slippery ground and he's a political personality. He would like to course correct on that. There's nothing wrong in that. As for your second question about Priyanka Gandhi Vadraji, let me just make it clear. It is a political strategic decision that one sibling would be from Kerala, which would be Priyanka ji, and Rahul ji would be from Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has given a mandate to the Congress, and the road to 2029 leads to Uttar Pradesh 2027. At the same time, you have Kerala elections, and you need Priyanka Gandhi Vadra ji there. I don't see anything that has to be surprised or why that strategy has to be discussed on Times Now, permission to be taken from any media channel. But one last thing. I think the people of the country have understood that the Prime Minister in particular and the BJP in general is that political party and that political leader that will chop down an entire forest, build a wooden stump, a wooden stage, and talk about environment conservatism. So they've understood the hypocrisy of the BJP. The BJP is now going to enter rough weather, be it Maharashtra, Haryana, state elections, and turbulent weathers into 2027. I think the goal is 2027 Uttar Pradesh. From there, 2029 is not very far off.
My God, एक election खत्म नहीं हुआ. You guys are planning the next two elections already. My God, have some thought for journalists who have to run maybe as much or maybe more than politicians. But Sudhanshu Trivedi ji, Prime Minister in Varanasi today. Is this to take stock of what happened in Uttar Pradesh, in Kashi? Is it course correction, or is it once again a message that double engine is right and strong to take on the double barrel guns of Akhilesh and Dimple and Rahul and Priyanka, coming from the first families of Indian politics?
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in the last 10 years has gone around 45 times. This is the 46th visit of him to Varanasi. And yes, this visit was significant because after third time successively swearing in as Prime Minister, he has gone there after creating a history. Otherwise, it is a routine affair, the type of affection, which is attachment, which is having with the with Varanasi and the people has reciprocated. I think this is nothing unusual. But our friend Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla is presuming that there is going to be rough weather. I would like to remind, the rough weather for India Alliance has already started. Abhi just 15 days have left after the election results have come. There is a proverb in Hindi, Zumme 4 din. So 4 Jumme gujre nahi and Aam Aadmi Party has shed up their ties. They have said that the election alliance was only till Lok Sabha. And recently, just a couple of days back, now Aam Aadmi Party के अगेंस्ट में प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं कांग्रेस वाले. वो मटका वटका लेके फोड़ फाड़ रहे हैं भाई. मतलब जिसे कहते हैं साझे की हंडिया चौराहे फूट रही है. He is trying to give a presumption that this will happen, this may happen in future. That I am just talking hard reality of the present, that this has already happened. And out of the 232 seats, there are 60 seats which these India Alliance have fought against each other. Still, they are counting all the Punjab seats together, despite the Aam Aadmi Party has broken up the alliance. So this shows the sheer hypocrisy. But giving seat of Wayanad to Priyanka ji, though this is a total internal matter of Congress Party, it is for them to decide. But this is definitely creating history for the first time. All the sitting members of Gandhi family are in the politics and in the race. If Priyanka Gandhi wins, she will be in the parliament. Like all the members of the first family of Samajwadi Party are there in the politics, either MLA or MP. But the more significant, why Rahul Gandhi has retained Rai Bareli? Because Rai Bareli signifies the family legacy. And the family legacy has to remain with son. It cannot be remain with Priyanka Gandhi. So if he would have decided to leave Raebareli, then the situation could have been, the legacy could have been claimed by Priyanka Gandhi because the seat signifies Sonia Gandhi and previously Indira Gandhi. Second thing, the lack of confidence which they have. Because in Raebareli, MLAs are not of the Congress party. Most of the MLA, nobody is from Congress party. Gram Panchayat, they are nil. Jila Panchayat, they are nil. Nagar Palika, they are nil. They have won on the shoulders of Samajwadi Party. Samajwadi Party had transferred their vote to them. That's why Rahul Gandhi won by 3,90,000. But Akhilesh Yadav has won by just 1,70,000 in their home strong base. It means Congress is either unable to transform anything or was not able to transform the voters. So, even on this show, if I will ask Rajkumar Bhatti ji that is there going to be an alliance of Samajwadi Party and Congress in the coming assembly elections, he will not be in a position to say categorically yes. Because Congress has already announced that they will take on their yatra in 403 constituencies. On the other hand, Kerala, there is a strong alliance with Muslim League. And the demography of Wayanad also suits. They fought election together, Muslim League and Congress, in the previous assembly election, and the coming election they will fight. So there is a lack of trust with Samajwadi Party. They are not sure that what type of stand, overtly or covertly, Samajwadi Party may take, because if somebody of the Gandhi family establishes in Raebareli, then definitely Rahul Gandhi right now is a more taller leader than Akhilesh Yadav. But this will not be the case of Wayanad. So I think there are two things, the legacy and the surety and security and the confidence more on Muslim League than on Samajwadi Party might have prompted them to take this decision.
राजकुमार भाटी जी, ये तो बहुत बड़ी बात कह दी डॉक्टर सुधांशु त्रिवेदी ने। अब मुस्लिम लीग पर ज्यादा भरोसा है कांग्रेस पार्टी को समाजवादी पार्टी से ज्यादा, इसीलिए रायबरेली की सीट नहीं छोड़ी, क्योंकि पता नहीं समाजवादी पार्टी दूसरी बार जिताएगी कि नहीं। इसका जवाब तो दे दीजिए। क्या थोड़ा थोड़ा, कभी खुशी कभी गम, थोड़ा प्यार थोड़ा दुश्वार, क्या इस तरह का कुछ रिलेशनशिप है? एंड 2027 लड़ेंगे क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी, फिर से अलायंस में रहेगी?
कांग्रेस और समाजवादी पार्टी के बीच में बहुत अच्छा तालमेल है, कार्यकर्ता के लेवल पर, ग्रास रूट लेवल तक, बूथ लेवल तक और ऊपर के टॉप लीडरशिप तक। तो इसमें किसी को कोई संदेह करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है। लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोगों की उनकी जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि वो इस तरह के अफवाह फैलाएं, इस तरह के मतभेद पैदा करने की कोशिश करें। जहां तक सुधांशु जी ने कहा मुस्लिम लीग पर ज्यादा विश्वास है, तो मुस्लिम लीग भी भारत की ही एक राजनीतिक पार्टी है, भारत के संविधान में विश्वास करती है, भारत के चुनाव आयोग ने उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन किया हुआ है। वो भी आपके हमारी तरह ही भारत के नागरिकों की पार्टी है। वो कोई विदेश की या बाहर की या कोई दुश्मन देश की पार्टी नहीं है जो ये इस तरह का एक शब्द ऐसे प्रयोग करते हैं कि जैसे कोई बहुत बड़ा गलत काम हो गया हो मुस्लिम लीग का नाम लेकर। जो अब तीसरी बात, अभी सुधांशु जी कह रहे थे कि राहुल गांधी ज्यादा वोटों से जीते इसलिए वो बड़े नेता हैं। तो इस पैमाने पर नापे तो मोदी जी से तो 15 प्रत्याशी ज्यादा वोटों से जीते हैं उत्तर प्रदेश में। मोदी जी कुल 1.5 लाख वोट से जीते हैं वाराणसी में। राहुल गांधी 3,19,000 वोट से जीते हैं। अखिलेश यादव जी भी उनसे ज्यादा वोट से जीते हैं। डिंपल यादव भी ज्यादा वोट से जीती हैं। कन्हैयालाल शर्मा भी ज्यादा वोट से जीते हैं। हमारे धर्मेंद्र यादव भी ज्यादा वोट से जीते हैं। राजीव राय भी घोसी से मोदी जी से ज्यादा वोट के अंतर से जीते हैं। तो मोदी जी तो 16वें नंबर के नेता हो गए इस अगर सुधांशु जी के फॉर्मूले को ही अपनाया जाए। तो जहां तक देखिए सवाल है कि 2 सीटों पर राहुल गांधी जीते, 1 सीट छोड़नी थी। अगर राहुल गांधी रायबरेली छोड़ते तो बीजेपी के लोग कह रहे होते रायबरेली की जनता के साथ धोखा कर दिया। अब उन्होंने वायनाड छोड़ दी तो कह रहे वायनाड की जनता के साथ धोखा कर दिया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की राजनीतिक संस्कृति है, ये शैली है उनका। वो इसी तरह ये देखते रहते हैं कि कहाँ दोनों तरफ दोनों निर्णय पे वो इसी तरह बोलते, सेम भाषा बोलते। हम बहुत आशान्वित हैं 2027 के चुनाव को लेकर। जिस तरह भारतीय जनता पार्टी में आपस में इनमें गुटबाजी हो रही है, जूतम पैजार हो रही है, इनका झगड़ा सड़कों पर आ गया है। जगह जगह जहां जहां लोकसभा सीट आ रहे हैं एक दूसरे के ऊपर आरोप लगा रहे हैं, चाहे मुजफ्फरनगर का मामला हो, चाहे आपका सलेमपुर में आपने देखा, सलेमपुर में इनके रविंद्र कुशवाहा चुनाव हारे हैं, तो वो योगी मंत्रिमंडल की एक मंत्री के ऊपर आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि उसने मुझे हरवा दिया। मुजफ्फरनगर में संजीव बालियान अपने पूर्व विधायक संगीत सोम के ऊपर आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि जयचंद है, गद्दार है। इन लोगों ने समाजवादी पार्टी के लिए काम किया, कांग्रेस के लिए काम किया, गठबंधन के लिए। और इनके नेता कह रहे हैं कि हमें लोकदल अगर हमारे साथ ना आया होता तो हम मुजफ्फरनगर जीत जाते। लोकदल के गठबंधन में आने से हमें नुकसान हुआ। ओम प्रकाश राजभर इनके सहयोगी कह रहे हैं मोदी योगी का जादू खत्म हो चुका है, उनका कोई मैजिक नहीं है, उनकी वजह से मेरा बेटा चुनाव हार गया। जो संजय निषाद हैं इनके सहयोगी, वो भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को कोस रहे हैं। तो इनके बीच इतने विवाद और इतने झगड़े हैं, लेकिन ये हमारे लिए बनावटी बातें कहेंगे। हमारे बीच में बहुत अच्छा तालमेल है, कहीं कोई मतभेद नहीं है, हम मिलकर चुनाव लड़ेंगे।
सुधांशु त्रिवेदी जी, वहां रोमांस ठीक है, वो कह रहे हैं आप बीच में फूट डालना चाहते हैं।
देखिए, he has given so many type of different analysis, but couldn't dare to speak a single word about that whether Samajwadi Party and Congress will be having an alliance in Uttar Pradesh or not. That tells the entire story. और जो रोमांस की आपने बात कही है नाविका जी, वही रोमांस तो
सुधांशु जी 2 बार बोला है कि हम मिलकर लड़ेंगे।
इनका MY कॉम्बिनेशन में, अच्छा आज मैं सर अभी आपने नहीं बोला ना, इसलिए मैंने कहा आपने नहीं बोला, और नई सीटों का कोई डिवीजन है जैसा आप मुस्लिम लीग के साथ उनका।
मैंने 2 बार बोला, आपने ठीक से सुना नहीं, मैंने 2 बार बोला।
अब मैं आता हूं, ये रोमांस का ही तो इशू है। अरे सर पूरी बात बोलने सर, रोमांस का ही तो इशू है। वो माई वाला जो M है ना, उसी का तो रोमांस है। ये तो अभी नए नए आशिक हैं, वो पुराना वाला आशिक आ गया, जैसे लव ट्रायंगल वाली फिल्म में होता था। वो कांग्रेस पुराना वाला आशिक है, और जब पुराना आशिक आ जाता है तो नए आशिक को अपना रोमांस खतरे में पड़ा हुआ नजर आने लगता है। इसलिए मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि अगर आज सबसे ज्यादा दिल में खतरे की घंटियां बज रही होंगी तो समाजवादी पार्टी बज रही होंगी, बिकॉज द राइज ऑफ कांग्रेस एंड इट इज प्रूवन इन कर्नाटका दे रोज देयर स्टेचर एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ JDS, a regional party. In Telangana, they rose their stature at the cost of TRS, which is a regional party. And now in Maharashtra, they have become the, in terms of number of seats, biggest party at the cost of the NCP and Shiv Sena. So now in the last 1.5 years, it has been proven that wherever the Muslim factor comes, the attraction and the romance of Muslim is more towards the Congress party than these the regional parties. So I think this is a point to be taken into consideration. But on that issue, राजकुमार भाटी जी, आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा, मुस्लिम लीग इस भारत में मान्यता प्राप्त पार्टी है, और इसीलिए राहुल गांधी when went to England has said with such a tone and tenor, Muslim League is absolutely secular and I'm having no problem about it. ये राहुल गांधी का स्टेटमेंट था, and BJP is communal. बट आपको ये भी बात बता दूं, this is the same Muslim League which has participated in the partition. Muhammad Ismail, who was the chief of the Southern Muslim League before partition of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, on which the Madras presidency 30 out of 30 seats they have got, and he is called Qaide Millat. Jinnah was called Qaide Azam, and Muhammad Islam and PJ Poker Sahab is called Qaide Millat, and they formed the same Muslim League, changing the name Indian Union Muslim League in March 1948. And Sardar Patel has openly said in the Constituent Assembly debate, I am quoting, on 28th of August 1947, when the same Muslim League in which you are having alliance, they asked for separate electorate. So Sardar Patel has said कि हिंदुस्तान के ज्यादातर मुसलमानों ने पाकिस्तान के लिए वोट किया है, और ये 3 जनवरी 1948 को कलकत्ता में ही बोला। मैं नहीं मानता कि एक दिन में सारा दिल बदल गया, मगर अब जो हो गया सो हो गया। अब ये डिमांड छोड़ो, सेपरेट आइडेंटिटी, सेपरेट इलेक्ट्रेट, सेपरेट राइट्स, ये छोड़िए और देश के साथ मिलकर काम करिए। तो ये भी याद दिला दूं, ये वही मुस्लिम लीग है, नाम बदल के वही लीडर्स थे, और इन्होंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली की डिबेट में वही डिमांड की थी जो 1916 में मुस्लिम लीग ने करके पाकिस्तान बनाया था। आई हैव कोटेड द डेट, सुनिए। और भाटी साहब, 28 अगस्त 1947 कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली डिबेट, पेज नंबर 270 से 275, जाके चेक कर लीजिएगा। जो करोड़ों दर्शक देख रहे हैं वो भी।
लेट्स कट बैक टू 2024 एंड लेट मी आस्क यू राजकुमार भाटी जी। राजकुमार भाटी जी, खतरे की घंटी बज रही है या नहीं?
देखिए, 2024 में 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 2024
देखिए सुधांशु जी जान पूछ के रिपीट करते हैं कुछ बातों को, MY फॉर्मूला, MY पार्टी। समाजवादी पार्टी ने 4 मुस्लिम कैंडिडेट लड़ाए हैं और 58 हिंदू लड़ाए हैं। समाजवादी पार्टी ने 5 यादव लड़ाए हैं, 10 कुर्मी लड़ाए हैं, 40 कैंडिडेट OBC लड़ाए हैं। समाजवादी पार्टी ने 11 महिलाएं लड़ाई हैं। लेकिन ये बार बार कहेंगे MY पार्टी। दूसरे आपने सरदार पटेल को कोट किया। सरदार पटेल ने तो ये भी कहा था कि महात्मा गांधी की हत्या में सीधे सीधे RSS का हाथ है। आपने कहा कि वो जिन्ना से उनका संबंध था। जिन्ना से तो सावरकर का भी संबंध था। सावरकर और जिन्ना तो मिलकर चुनाव लड़े थे, संयुक्त सरकारें बनाई थी मुस्लिम लीग के साथ, जिन्ना और उन्होंने हिंदू महासभा ने। तो ये इतिहास में जितना आप जाएंगे
कभी नहीं बनाई,
दिक्कत होगी। इतिहास के बजाय अगर वर्तमान और भविष्य पे नजर रखें, वर्तमान पर भविष्य पे नजर रखें तो ज्यादा बेहतर होगा।
बिल्कुल, भविष्य और वर्तमान में आते हैं। लेट्स कम टू द प्रेजेंट एंड लेट्स कम टू द फ्यूचर। एंड आई एम लुकिंग एट द पार्लियामेंट एंड लेट मी गेट इन सुहेल से। पार्लियामेंट with Akhilesh Dimple on one side, Rahul Priyanka on the other, and Modi on the receiving end. Do you think that's the strategy and the great strategy that Tehseen Poonawalla was speaking about? And is that going to cost the BJP some missed heartbeats, in the ensuing parliament sessions? Number one. Number two, in Varanasi today, when Modi meets Yogi, in a quiet meeting, expected later at night, do you think there will be a debate and discussion and thrashing out of what went wrong in Uttar Pradesh?
Let me answer the second one first. Narendra Modi is not the kind of person who will let mistakes be, and he shouldn't. There is bound to be introspection, there is bound to be accountability. Yogi Adityanath is the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, where the BJP got a drubbing that they didn't expect, and obviously questions will be asked. The fact that he is doing it in an atmosphere where there is just him and the Chief Minister, augurs well, speaks volumes of the maturity with which you have an introspection. You're not having a public spectacle. Now coming to the first question. Look, let me be honest. I really don't care whether these people are part of a family, they're not part of a family, whether their family is divided, Hindu, HUF, undivided, divided, doesn't really matter. What matters are 3 things. Number one, will they have the gravitas to be a responsible opposition? Akhilesh Yadav has been a responsible opposition person all his life. He's not the kind of guy who believes in bravado and swinging the axe, as it were. But Rahul Gandhi has known to be a person who, for various reasons, goes out of whack, right from hugging and starting a Mohabbat ki dukaan in parliament to everything else. The second is, this is India's democracy, Navika. It is a statement not on the Gandhis or on the Yadavs or on the Modis. It's a statement and self-reflection on us. We are the people who elect these people. If we love a family, so be it. If we don't like a family, they won't come to parliament. Obviously, the voters find some merit in electing people with a surname. So be it. I have no issues. Don't say that democracy is being converted into a familocracy, as in a family democracy, because it is the same people who you worship when you talk about a democracy that you talk about when you talk about families coming into parliament. The third is, this is a very crucial term of parliament. Not because Modi is 1/3 prime minister, 2/3 prime minister, 3/3, none of that. This is crucial because India is at a stage, at an inflection point in its trajectory of growth. We do not need the following. We do not need any divisiveness. We do not need people to take pot shots where you denigrate the office of the prime minister. We do not need people to continuously cast suspicion, aspersion, and abuse on people who actually give out jobs. We need to be a more responsible nation. This constant, abuse and scoop nonsense has to stop. Even just now when Mr. Bhati said MY party, YM party, AB party, we need to stop that, Navika. This is not a country meant for division. It's a country meant for unity. That's the essence of who we are, whether we are Hindus, Muslims, Christians, whatever. So my belief is that constantly taking pot shots at the Prime Minister, or for that matter on Rahul Gandhi, will stop. I believe people like you, and you're the most seasoned journalist amongst people that we know. You also recognize that this is the time to move on. All the naysayers have been negated.
Well, Suhail said, I can only say one thing. You've been spending a long time probably out of India. You've been spending far too long time out of India, and you seem to have forgotten that the basic politics in India hasn't really changed that much and won't really change.
That is why I'm saying it needs to change. Arey bhai, I'm saying it needs to change.
But
why am I saying this? Because people overseas have a lot of faith in the India of today. They genuinely believe that today's India is not yesterday's India. It is not an India built on crony capitalism. It is an India that respects merit. It is an India that showers heaps praise on people who are in the startup business. We are a new India today, Navika, and we need a new modicum of behavior. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
therefore, politics needs to change.
So let me ask Ashutosh. Ashutosh, two questions. One, is this introspection time, finding out problems that happened in the elections, or do you think this is time to look forward at parliament sessions, to look forward at the opposition, which is far more strong than before, and is going to put up a tremendous fight, and all the families of politics are going to be there in the opposition, and do you think this is going to be a different term for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the term that he's begun with his first visit to Kashi for?
Navika, this election in a very, very long time has given a very serious signal to everybody. If the BJP think they have won, they have not won. If the opposition think that they have won, they have not won. In fact, in this election, nobody is a winner. Everybody is a loser in that sense. If the Prime Minister, who was supposed to win by 10 lakhs, is just managed to win by 1.5 lakh, there is a lesson and there is a message for him also and for his party. I agree with Suhail said that the divisive politics in this country should end. The potshot on the Prime Minister and others should end. But I can bet Suhail, and I can speak with a lot of confidence that Indian parliamentarians, Indian leaders will never learn a lesson. They will continue to be divisive. They will continue to denigrate the office of the Prime Minister and office of the and other constitutional officers. They absolutely has no concern for the country. They have concern for the power. They have concern for the office, and then they will keep accusing others in the filthiest of language, and that's what has happened in the last election. This election has given a verdict that those who were thinking, those who were believing that they will get 370 seats, they got 240. And those who thought that they are going to get 295, they were reduced to 230, to 237. So my only humble submission is to people like Sudhanshu ji and Rajkumar Bhati that please respect the verdict of the people. This verdict of the people is clear that if there is a government, there has to be a responsible opposition. If there is a government, there has to be a strong opposition. And both have to work together to run the democracy. And I do not agree with Suhail on the language part of it. Because if India has got many politicians who do not know how to speak, America has got Donald Trump, who doesn't know what to say and how to say. So India has to learn from itself, and that is the problem. The problem is that our leaders, our parliamentarians do not want to learn. They take India's democracy for granted. They take India's people for granted, and that is the saddest part of it. And I appeal to, in a lighter vein, I can tell Dr. Sudhanshu ji, Sudhanshu ji, संघ परिवार में तो रोमांस की बात ही नहीं होती, क्योंकि वहां तो शादी पर भी पाबंदी है.
Sudhanshu ji?
मुझे लगता है कि आशुतोष जी को शायद वो इतना वेस्टर्न माइंडसेट का फोबिया है इन इंडियन कॉन्सेप्ट जिसको आप प्रेम कहते हैं, दैट इज मच वाइडर देन द वेस्टर्न कॉन्सेप्ट सर. यहां तो माता पिता से भी प्रेम होता है, उनके प्रति भी भक्ति है, गुरु के लिए भी होता है, राष्ट्र से भी प्रेम है, भूमि से भी प्रेम है, भगवान से भी प्रेम है, भक्ति से भी प्रेम है। कहां आप आके पड़ गए सिर्फ शादी में? अरे भाई, हमारे संघ के तो लोग कहते हैं तेरा वैभव अमर रहे मां, हम दिन चार रहे न रहे। बट आई एम वेरी श्योर दैट you people who used to eulogize the socialist idea in this election has given a very clear-cut message that the so-called tangible, real developmental works and you can say the welfare works are limited to only one section of society for delivering the votes. For one section, yes, whatever I am getting, 8,000 or 2,000, it matters. For other section, there is nothing matters. All eyes on Rafah. Whether you get house, whether you get gas, whether you get anything, but nothing, no eyes on welfare activities, all eyes on Rafah. And this election has given a very significant change also. There used to be a time when communists used to say there are only two sections, the rich and the poor, the proletariat and bourgeois. But today they say, no, poor cannot be a section, it can only be the caste. And the most bourgeois leaders have become the so-called champions of the poor and downtrodden. मैं चैलेंज करके कहता हूं डीएमके से लेके और लालू प्रसाद यादव तक, जिन्होंने कहा मैं गरीब पिछड़ों का नेता हूं, वो देखते देखते सबसे पहले सैकड़ों करोड़ों की संपत्ति के मालिक बने। सबसे ज्यादा अगर आप देख में जो इनकम जो भरा जाता है अपने एसेट डिक्लेरेशन, वो लीडर्स हैं जो कहते हैं हमसे, चाहे वो मायावती जी हो चाहे कोई भी हो, देख लीजिए। तो ये बहुत सारे टेक अवे एंड आई थिंक दैट द लर्नेड पर्सन लाइक आशुतोष जी वुड एनालाइज दिस इलेक्शन in this way and then we will be able to conclude what are the things which are coming out in real way. But as far as BJP is concerned, we do critical analysis after every election and accordingly we will take up and see Narendra Modi ji has proved in the last 23 years in various positions in various dimensions, and in this dimension he will prove this capability.
Well, Shantanu Gupta, you come from Uttar Pradesh, you've studied Yogi Adityanath very carefully. I want to ask you, corrective measures begin today, or is there, still a little bit of Mahabharat, a little bit of soul searching still left within the BJP to do? The wounds are still very raw.
I think the kind of party Navika BJP is and the kind of leader, someone like Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Yogi Adityanath, they don't mind going back to the drawing board ever and again to improve their performance, right? People were talking about the decent use of language. Today you saw when Narendra Modi went to 46th time to his constituency, there was no political jibe to anyone. He just thanks the voter, he thanks the farmers, and he initiated work. PM Modi and CM Yogi are back to work. Elections are over. PM Modi is the Prime Minister of India for the third time against multiple lords, against global lords. And he goes to Kashi, his constituency transfers 17th installment of PM Kisan to 9.3 crore farmers, including 2.7 crore farmers of UP, and almost transferring 20,000 crore rupees. So he's back to work. And the silver lining for BJP, even after reducing seat, their vote share in UP is still 42%. Based on that false narrative of reservation, based on fake guarantee card, they tactically lost some seats for sure. And I'm sure they will go back to voting court that why they were not able to call out this farce of Samajwadi Party and Congress of their fake narrative. Right? They will go back to the voting board, but their vote share is intact. Akhilesh Yadav is still standing at 33% vote share, and BJP is still at 42% vote share in UP.
Well, we'll have to wait and watch how this translates in 2027. But yes, if there is one thing, BJP, if they've made mistakes, is not somebody who's going to let it stay. Status quo has never been the BJP's strategy. We'll have to wait and watch how the corrections are made, how the internal introspection takes place, and what are the changes that take place. But for now, yes, it's Prime Minister Narendra Modi back to work with Parliament session around the corner next Monday and a Speaker's election likely to take place next week. Is the alliance in command? Is Prime Minister in the driving seat? Have the alliance partners reposed their complete faith and trust in him? At the moment, seems so. Can the opposition find a crack in this alliance in the Speaker's election, we'll keep an eye out on that one. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.